Wir sind mal wieder in der Chefetage, hä? Ja klar. Unten drunter ein schäbiges Gefängnis, wie nur was. Und hier der prächtigste Prunk. Wofür? Ja.
Die, you traitor!
Ging das jetzt ein bisschen schnell? Oh oh, wie kriegen wir sie jetzt da raus? Schlüssel des Vorstandsvorsitzenden. Ein sehr eleganter Generalschlüssel für das Labyrinth. Vermutlich öffnet er die Gefängniszelle ganz oben in der Einrichtung. Ähm. Sicher, dass er die Zelle öffnet? Will mir das nochmal anders überlegen? Ich glaube irgendwie gerade nicht, dass er die Zelle öffnet. Doch.
Thank the law you're here. That madman was out of control. You were right to put him down. He was too far gone to be of any use to us. And what about you? You aren't hurt, I hope.
Bin nicht mal in Schwitzen gekommen, das stimmt nicht ganz. Ach, mir geht's gut, ich mache mir eher Sorgen um dich.
I'm not hurt. Well, except for my pride. I can't believe that lunatic got the better of me. You've put down the worst riot in our history, rid the colony of a dangerous madman, and saved my life.
Mhm.
The board owes you a tremendous debt. We don't have a moment to lose. We're gonna have to work together to save Halcyon, because the situation is far worse than you imagined.
Du machst gerade einen echt schönen Moment kaputt. Au. Ach komm, das müssen wir irgendwie nehmen.
I would like nothing more than to celebrate your victory, Captain. But we have a serious problem on our hands. We've lost all contact with Earth. It's been 3 years since we've received a message. We've had no contact, no signals, nothing. Earth has gone dark. 2 years ago, the Earth Directorate's frigate disappeared en route to Earth. We don't know if they ever made it. We don't know if there's an Earth to go back to.
They haven't exactly been hands-on around here anyway. So there's one less rubber stamp to worry about.
Earth was more than just some distant colonial authority, Dr. Fenhill. Earth was our lifeline. And now, we've been cut loose. We're alone, Captain. That's all I know for certain. Whatever happens to this colony, we're going to have to deal with it on our own. Returning to Earth is not an option.
Haben wir noch Fragen? Gibt's da noch was? Gucken
I'll
wir mal.
answer however I can.
Die erste Frage ist doch eigentlich erklärt. Ja, das erwähnt, dass eine Fregatte verschwunden sei.
The Earth Directorate's frigate accounts for half of our military forces. 2 years ago, that frigate disappeared while returning to Earth. We haven't heard a word back. Without the Directorate's frigate, our military forces are barely capable of maintaining control over this colony.
Das hört sich jetzt nicht so an, als haben wir für Friede, Freude, Eierkuchen gesorgt. Und es gab keine neuen Nachrichten mehr?
Not a word. We received our last message 3 years ago. Our every attempt at reaching out to Earth has been met with absolute silence.
Okay, und wieso erzählst du uns das gerade jetzt?
I couldn't risk this news getting out. Before you, the two people in this colony who knew the truth were Chairman Rockwell and I. I had every intention of telling you the truth after you'd skipped the Hope to Tartarus. Unfortunately, Phineas Wells chose that moment to start a riot.
Wenn ich mich nicht irre, lag Rockwells Leiche weiter vorne im Gang. Also gibt's nur noch 2 Personen, die davon wissen. Halt, und Ellie und unseren Reinigungsroboter. Was meinst du, was passiert ist?
I can't say for certain, but all my data suggests that Earth has experienced a massive calamity. I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I'm not sure there's an Earth to go back to.
Dann haben wir wohl viel Arbeit vor uns.
Yes, we do have a long road ahead of us. But I have faith in you. The service you've done for this colony is nothing short of extraordinary. You're the reason I'm still standing here today. The board will survive because of you. And as the board goes, so goes Halcyon. It's time we carried out the program. I trust I can count on your support, Captain.
Die Kolonie wurde schon viel zu lange falsch verwaltet. Ab jetzt nehme ich die Sache in die Hand. Du kannst auf unsere Unterstützung zählen. Dass das Programm vernünftig durchgeführt wird.
I'm pleased to hear that. The program is too important to hand over to the board's bureaucrats. That's why I'd like you to take the helm. I'll see to it that the lifetime employment program operates under your supervision. We'll work together to save this colony. We're on our own now. Earth isn't coming to save us. So we're going to have to save ourselves.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The riots in Tartarus ended in a total victory for the board. Without any significant threats to challenge their power, the board asserted their control over the colony. The lifetime employment program began immediately, and the people of Halcyon did exactly what they were expected to do. They obeyed. Sophia Akande converted the labyrinth from a prison to a processing center. She jettisoned the original colonists out of the Hope and transformed the ship into a massive storage facility. One by one, the workers of Halcyon surrendered themselves to the program. They arrived with their families and their friends, their colleagues and their neighbors, and then, one by one, they marched into their stasis chambers. As the workers of Halcyon slept in their hibernation chambers, their settlements became ghost towns, left behind by the board to be reclaimed by nature. Only Byzantium remained, a shining beacon of civilization in an otherwise abandoned colony. The people of Byzantium spent the rest of their days gorging themselves on their stockpile of resources. As for the workers of Halcyon, they never felt the effects of the collapse. They never felt anything at all. As the board began to enact the lifetime employment program, Sanjar and Zora brought another option to the townships of Terra 2. Many workers joined MSI, bolstering Sanjar's ranks and giving Zora more forces to work with. Though none of Sanjar's policies spread to Byzantium, many smaller townships that might otherwise have been shuttered thrived under his and Zora's combined leadership. Over the years, the ruins of Edgewater caused irreversible environmental damage to the landscape of Emerald Vale, owing largely to the presence of toxic compounds in the town's building materials. As for Edgewater's former workers, their remains provided a source of nourishment for the region's fauna, leading to an explosion in the sprat population. While the groundbreaker remained mechanically stable, The changing times forced Junlei Tennyson to make some difficult calls on behalf of her community. The work of maintaining independence was an uphill climb, and she found herself caving to bad faith compromises with the board. Time will tell if the groundbreaker can endure. As smaller settlements were swallowed up and their workers drafted into the lifetime employment program, Byzantium continued to thrive. While its citizens lived in decadence and extravagance, a small cadre of scientists worked to solve the nutrition crisis that threatened Halcyon. No one else much noticed the townships that disappeared from the map, or the luxuries that slowly lost their luster year by year. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable. Once they were done, she returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch. As the board reasserted control over Halcyon, Felix came to realize that his life as an upstart rebel had come to an end. The board's victory crushed any hope for a grand revolution across Halcyon, and so Felix, once again, found himself without a purpose in life. And so, disillusioned with his former boss and with nowhere left to go, Felix left his crew without saying goodbye. He was never heard from again. As a reward for his part in her courageous rescue, the adjutant invited the vicar known as Max to become one of the leaders of the Order of Scientific Inquiry. Max eventually rose to the top, becoming the presiding bishop of the OSI. He denounced his spiritual meanderings as a misguided attempt to come to terms with his long-dead parents. His only regret was that they had not lived long enough to see that he was right all along. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. As the board began to roll out their lifetime employment program, Parvati was increasingly plagued by dreams of freezing to death, and rarely left their shared quarters. Stymied by dwindling resources, Junlei struggled to keep the Groundbreaker afloat. Their relationship couldn't survive the strain. Parvati moved into crew quarters and found work servicing water pumps in hydroponics. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. Adjutant Sophia Akande was instrumental in executing the lifetime employment program. While the rest of Byzantium celebrated, Sophia returned to work by partnering with you. The two of you worked hard to ensure the lifetime employment program ran smoothly. With Halcyon's workers suspended in a state of hibernation, starvation and chaos are problems of the past. The lifetime employment program succeeded in its goals, but that success came at a price. The Halcyon of today is nothing at all like the colony of yesteryear. Power remains concentrated in Byzantium, but all the colony's resources serve the lifestyle of the elite, thereby transforming Halcyon into one of the smallest and most exclusive colonies in the system. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? After the riots on Tartarus came to an end, you threw in your support with Sophia Akande. While Akande administered the board herself, you oversaw the lifetime employment program, stamping out corruption and negligence. Under your leadership, the program ran smoothly. Halcyon's workers were treated with a modicum of dignity. Your involvement kept the board honest and allowed the board scientists to work without the meddling of bureaucracy. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
glaube, mit den meisten Credits sind wir jetzt durch. Oh. Im Großen und Ganzen würde ich sagen, ein wunderschön gemachtes Spiel. Durch das wir leider viel zu sehr durchgerannt sind. Wir haben so viel diesmal liegen lassen. Das tut weh. Aber wurde abgestimmt, also haben wir uns daran gehalten. Aber darum soll es ja gar nicht gehen. Eher um das Ende hier, was wir hatten im Namen von Halcyon, dem Konzern. Unsere Crew ist komplett auseinandergegangen. Jeder ging seine Wege. Nicht mal Pavate hatte letztendlich ein Glück. Ist doch traurig. Vika Max, naja, er hat das Beste draus gemacht, wenn man so möchte. Und wenn man die Beschreibung zu uns sich so anhört, wir haben auch versucht, für die Arbeiter und die Wissenschaftler Bürokratie abzubauen und so weiter, auch für alle ein bisschen was rauszuholen. Aber ist es letztendlich das, was alle verdient haben? Ist es das, was man als gutes Ende bezeichnen könnte? Oder doch eher das Schlechte? Überlasse ich euch. Werden wir dann sehen, wenn, je nachdem, ob ihr das zuerst anguckt oder das Ende, was wir ursprünglich im Stream geplant haben, wenn wir Phineas Weg gehen. Mal gucken, was euch mehr gefällt. Ihr könnt es ja dann gerne in die Kommentare schreiben, mich wissen lassen. Würde mich interessieren. Und ich hoffe mal, wir sehen uns dann bei irgendeinem Projekt irgendwann wieder. Wäre doch fein. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, für die Kommentare auf YouTube, für die Daumen nach oben. Gehört dazu und bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye bye.